Okay, I don't know if that'll end up in this intro, but hello everybody. My name is ChangerHero. It's great to see you at this 3 a.m. in the morning, and welcome to episode 2 of Cool Kids SMP. I realized in the last video I did not actually mention what the acronym stood for, or at least the first two initials. I think it's never mind, not the point. For context, there was a wandering trader that came by, and he just so happened to cross paths with wait, we can put that away. Anyways, today we are going to hop right into some of the stuff that I've been working on. You'll notice this tree here that wasn't here before, and a barrel over there. These fences here. Well, what's happened here is I've done a bit of marking out some area for our couple builds that we're going to do either in this video or the next one. This one right here we're doing today, definitely. But you also may notice, as I looked over in this direction, there's Podzol here. Now, I don't have anything with enchantments except for one pickaxe, and it does have Silk Touch, but I'm not using that for Podzol when I have not been to a biome where that exists. So how did this get here? Well, apparently when you grow a spruce tree that's 2x2, that'll make sense here in a minute why I did that in the first place, it turns any dirt in the surrounding area into Podzol. And I did not know that before doing this. So that happened. Also, you may be wondering, where did I find this spruce? Well, this spruce isn't even the only thing I found. You see, I've been doing a lot of grinding. Not too much, but considering the servers just started, I wanted to get a hop, skip, and a jump on that resource grind. So here's an entire barrel full of spruce stacks. It's I'm recording this clip on Wednesday morning, actually. So probably the day before or the day after this goes up, and about 2-3 days after the last video went up, which had clips that were pretty much all recorded in the same day. So that was all recorded pretty much the day it went up. And speaking of the last episode, I did notice several things that were not good about it, such as the music was very, very loud. I am new to my editing software and did not realize that just because I turned the volume down in the editor for the music clips I used, the actual finished volume didn't change. So that's on me, and I didn't notice that until after the video went up. I also didn't notice that there was a second or two at the beginning of the episode that showed the end of the first clip, which that's a big whoopsie, and I will try not to let that happen again. Lastly, as far as things that I can fix from the last video, I had one more thing. You know what? We can move on. So, the other thing, this is the exciting part. I'm excited for it, at least. The other thing that I found, aside from spruce, is dark oak. Because there is a dark oak forest just off in that direction. and a couple spruce trees on this mountainous area that we'll go take a look at later. But to give you some context, I'm the first person on the server to actually get any of the good woods. Now, that's not to say, the other trees aren't great, but because, I did do a little bit of birch farming and acacia, oak, even though I think acacia is pretty much only good for its bark color in most cases. But you know what? They're like, it fits with like red sandstone. You can do some cool builds with that. Oddly enough, no one has found a jungle biome yet. So, hey, maybe I might be the first person to find that too. And if I do, I will get on the jungle growth train pretty quick, because that's another one that I can grow in big clumps, which is why these two are stacked. Now, I've been chopping wood, but I've also been doing a little mining. Nothing big, so here's all the sticks I got from leaves and such. There was something else. There was one more. No? Oh, well, I guess I made these composters, because I knew I would need them eventually, for the farmsy look. And this is here specifically for the build we are doing right here, because one furnace was definitely not enough, and it's made me realize I should really make a forge area. Now, don't mind this statement. We will address that a little later in the video. But first thing we're doing today is none of this. You see, I realized that to do projects with a lot of resources, you need a place to put all those resources. So, obviously, on a farm, the first thing to hold those resources I need to make are some silos. Now, in doing some research for this build, I realized there's an actual redstone storage thing called a silo. That's not what I'm making here. I'm just making some traditional buildings that you'd see on a real farm called a silo. So now that I have a... Wait a minute. I didn't need to... I needed normal stone. I don't know why I double fired it. Whoops. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okay, after that mix-up, I still have it in my inventory, so I'm gonna throw that in the right chest. But, as I was saying, now that I've got all those materials right there that I can use to build this, I'd say let's just hop right into it, and let's see if I can do this properly for my first time recording a time-lapse.
Alright, hey everybody, this is voiceover changer, Grady, whatever you want to say. I'm coming to you on the Blue Yeti mic, not the one that I've been recording this on, mostly just because I can record this part in my music space, for, just to see how this sounds. So I'm just going to give you an overview of what's going on here while I'm doing this construction. And obviously this first bit was just me clearing the area to make it easier to build. And I just flattened it out, nothing big. I had built an area out of, the fences. And you'll see later in the in the situation it's actually too small. So I'll have to expand the ground platform. But here we see the first main block of the palette that we're using, which is stripped dark oak. And obviously, I thought to myself when I was working on this in my creative testing world, which is interesting to say, because I've never had one of those until now. I thought to myself, well, I gotta use the materials that I have on hand, and obviously what I have most of is dark oak and spruce after hours and hours of grinding. So stripped versions of those and planks versions that you'll see later on are the main things I'm using in the palette for this build. As I said, I did test a couple different designs out in a creative world. And so this first silo is when we're done with it, because we won't be done with it at the end of this clip. I'm just gonna let you know now. It will look exactly like the one from my testing world. But you'll notice that it's a very simple design, and if you look closely, well, not too closely, because it's very obvious, it's a repeating pattern. You know, the bottom layer is dark oak, and then the second and third are spruce. Well, that just kind of happened. I don't really know why. I'm gonna take a wild stab and say it's maybe my brain thinking the 2/3 rule from photography. Look it up. Oh, that sounded so pretentious. Oh goodness, I just think it was neat. So I swear I'm not a loser. Well, I am a loser, but not in like a assholey loser way. Anyways, here we are getting into the other way I was saying that we use the dark oak and spruce palette, where I made the floor on the inside a dark oak planks, and then I created like a small incline with spruce stairs and slabs around the base of the silo, just to give it kind of like a little bit more texture as it went into the ground instead of just being a column all the way down. And then I'm surrounding that with dark oak again, because it adds a nice contrast, and you know, it kind of adds a darker at the ground, brighter as you go up the tower. After that, you see I'm starting to get into adding these dark oak fences, which I don't exactly know what this is in an actual real-life silo, but I think it's a pipe system or whatever. But I thought it looked cool, so I tried to replicate it. Here we have the first roof in our quartet of silos. As you might not be able to see it that clearly, but it's a mix of polished andesite slabs, stairs, and blocks, and the same types of blocks but in stone form to make this small little arc to kind of give it like a half dome roof, like you see on silos. Some are more like pointed, but I decided to round it out, which is strange to say in Minecraft. Next, we have our second silo, and as I said, with the first one being exactly what I have in my testing world, this second one is the first during this build in which I kind of let my mind just run with the basic idea to kind of just do whatever looked nice and just to kind of vary it up. Obviously, what's happening with this one is it's taller. It's not a big deviation, but instead of what I could have done, which would be just stretching the design, I decided to just use the repeating pattern, which honestly is definitely the way to go with the way this repeating pattern is, because look how, like, it's kind of like a striped barrel almost. But anyway, there's a few, like I said, called out earlier, with the fact the platform that I'm building this on is too small. There's a couple things that just kind of happened out of, you know, just the creative, like, hey, I'm actually building this in the world, in the server. This kind of gives you a better view of the tops of the roofs, and how I did that. I like this, like, rounded cross shape that we got out of it. I think it came out nicely. And I had to expand the platform out that way too, just because I thought I had more room than I did. Or, no, I knew how much room I had, I just decided to go a little bit more. I think it's because I wanted to do my absolute damnedest to make something I was kind of proud of, to put this amount of time and effort into recording this. So I'm pretty proud of how it came out. You may notice that there I am cutting it out right now. I noticed that there was gonna be this nice little like circular or like square, like diagonal pattern in the middle when they all intersected, and I thought it'd be neat to match the color palette of that inner circle with that of the roofs. But I wanted to do it like a different block palette, so it varied up a little bit. So I ended up going with a gravel on the outside, cobble, and then stone on the inside. And I think that looks really nice, and it just happened by accident. And I think that's definitely something I'm gonna learn the more of these that I do, is there's gonna be a lot of things that happen by accident. And speaking of accidents, this last camera pull is not great. It's gonna like go in a weird, like we're watching it right now, so you see what's happening. But obviously, as we pan over, I'm gonna get into the problems I had with the recording when we hop back into the world, and I tell you why this clip unfortunately does not end with us completing even the third silo. So I'll see you in the rest of the video, back with radio microphone. So see you in
now. So, a couple things have happened since that clip. Number one, I should go ahead and tell you why we didn't finish the silos in that clip. So, I didn't have the andesite or stone needed to make the roof, and when I designed this silo style, I included lanterns and chains, and that requires a lot of iron. So, I started something a little bit off camera, mostly because I couldn't actually record while this was going down, and it was time sensitive because the person who was buying what I am about to tell you I am selling, is not going to be on for a few days. So it was now or never. So I went ahead and just burned through that. Can I get it to? Well, I might be able to make this work. Okay, at the very top, I put a third sign on our to-do list. Number 9 is complete the silo. Number 10, however, is to start a business. Now, it's not spelled properly, but that's because I was running out of space. What business am I going to do? Well, obviously, I'm a farmer, so I'm going to farm things. But what resource do I have in absolute abundance? That's right. Logs. So I began the first logging company on the server, and then immediately sold almost all of my dark oak, and then spent the last 30 minutes scrounging up 9 stacks of normal oak to be sold in the same way for about almost a stack and a half of iron. I don't know if that's enough for this project to be finished, but it's pretty damn close considering I've already made all the lanterns and about 3 chains, and I still have a little bit of iron left over somewhere. Now, why is it nighttime? Well, there are people on the server, and the person who bought from me is still going back to their house, so they don't have a bed. So it's nighttime, and if I walk outside, there will be creepers, and they're the bane of my existence considering the amount of time I put into this build. But you can see parts of it out there in the distance. Oh, I think it, I got to look at it in reference to the rest of the landscape, and I think I definitely do think this has come out pretty well so far. They silhouette very nicely against the plains biome, so that's good. So we actually had a few interactions just now that I will cover. So one, I sold a bunch of wood, so they came and picked that up. That was L at the top there. The server owner and the gal that asked everybody if they wanted to record this or not. She popped by to drop off some mail. I haven't looked at it yet because I wanted to wait and get it on camera. So we're gonna just let's take a look at this. So they gave us a gold. That's neat. They put it in nugget form. Some bricks that could be useful, and nether bricks. That's nice. And what was 1, 2, 3, 4? And I think the apple. Yeah. Rory's letter. All right. Let's get into this. See what the server owner has to say. Greetings, Changer. I see you've taken residence in the old ranch. Terrible what happened there. Absolutely awful. Just the worst. Really hope the same doesn't happen to you. That's not ominous at all, and definitely not unwarranted. That aside, I'm just writing to give you a little hello. As one of the founding members of the Musket Queers, that is a thing. I figure it's only right we give you a proper hello. Ah, I see what this is. This is gonna tie into earlier in the video when I brought up the fact that the first sign looked a little different. So, anyways, continuing. You a proper hello, and wish you luck with everything going on. I'm sure our faction and your ranch will have a mutually beneficial relationship. Well, that I'm perfectly fine with. I'm perfectly capable of that situation. If you ever need help, especially if you're being targeted by L and their tittans, I don't know if that was intended to be spelled like that, but I'm gonna just read it as tittans. You can count on me and my faction being there. And as a side note, I think it'd be a good idea if the two of us had a meeting so we could talk about the state of the ranch and the server as a whole. Alright, I'll try not to ramble on anymore. Included with this letter is a gift. Is as an offer of friendship to show our good intentions. With love and luck, Rory of the Musket Queers. Neat. Now, I don't know what that singeing sound was, like something caught on fire and then stopped being on fire. As I was saying, so that a little bit, but a little less straightforward than what was on our sign here. Now you notice I have crossed it out because I do not play into the hands of propaganda. I will make a good business deal, as I already have with the acclaimed L of the ROT faction. Now, I don't know what faction that is. I don't know what the acronym stands for. I'm assuming I will find out eventually, as I'm being asked to speak with the Musket Queers. And no, they all agreed on that. And that's the owner of the server, so yeah. No comment on the name. Anyway, but you see, L is the leader of that opposing faction that the Musket Queers are opposed against. And they came and altered my signs with propaganda. Hello, Alpaca, can you and they decided that they were gonna tell me to join their faction. Well, no. No. I have decided that on this day, I will not be in a faction. I have one goal, and that is to farm. Maybe make a little more inside. It's still early. We're still trading in iron ingots and bartering and such right now, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, war games aside, I want to go over these, because we didn't get to really do that very well while we were cowering inside, trying not to have stuff like that happen, even though it still did. So completing the silo. Now that we have this iron, and off camera I did mining also. While I was off camera, I found a beehive, so I made a campfire and used the gold Silk Touch pickaxe that we got from the nether portal thing to bring it over here, and I gave it a nice little spot. So we got some bees. But all this aside, now that we have the iron, and I made iron bars thinking I might be able to use it as a substitute. I cannot. But now that we have all the andesite and stone and iron that we need, we can finish this up. Now, I spent 2 hours trying to figure out how to make the replay mod work because I completely misunderstood how it functioned. I also only gave Minecraft 2 gigabytes of my plentiful RAM, which was a dumb mistake, and my C drive is almost full, so you can imagine the trials and tribulations I went through trying to get this silo clip to actually function. Not only that, but I wanted to do the counter to kind of get me to stop saying because it's a part of public speaking in general is to try and stop saying that. And that was my punishment for saying it 60 times. Oh my gosh, every single one of those was a separate PNG file. I'm not even kidding. I made 100 of them because I was worried it might actually get that high. I'm not joking. It saddens me greatly. But instead of recording all of that, I am going to, when we get to the point a little bit later in the video, I'm going to just smash cut. I almost got you. You probably thought we were going to just smash cut right then. No. I'm listening to my words, not my dramatic action. We're gonna smash cut to the completed product. I feel like this third column is gonna be the same as this one. I decided afterwards that I was going to make this one shorter than this one, so that we'd have high to medium to low, and I think that looks nicer. And they all have the same basic building structure, so you already watched me build 2 of them. Just snapping my fingers and letting the final touches hit the floor doesn't seem to be that big of a problem. So yeah, so when I say we used up we sold most of our dark oak logs, I mean it. This is the materials. We used like 3 stacks on this stuff on the silos alone. So we haven't sold any spruce logs, so we have plenty of those. But yeah. So it seems my place in this server so far is as a broker of deals. So I will keep that in mind. Also, it would appear that the shadowy backstory of this farm is becoming quite clear to me. that it might not just simply be a bad situation. But you might have noticed, build an orchard and make a village are on this. Now, make a village isn't like too crazy. I mean, villagers exist, and I do love me some good villager trading. But you might be asking yourself, how do you build an orchard in Minecraft, a game where the only fruit is an apple? Well, you see, we have finally got all our data packs settled on the server, which include player heads and head stuff in general. Not a lot, but the other big one is armor stands, which was the one that I really wanted. I mean, heads make it a lot more fun because you can put each other's heads in it, or animal heads on it, and it's neat. You still have to get those heads, and you still have to get the armor stand. And I will not be doing that in this episode because, oh my goodness, I don't have the stamina for it after editing that or just rendering out the replay. So, seems we have an interesting dilemma here. So, what I'm going to do is, I think we are going to walk on over here and on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, that was a plentiful smash cut. I took a nap. I think I was in a Zoom call at some point in a class, but I can't quite remember, so I might have blacked out and blocked it from my memory. But anyways, here we are. I think I'll probably still have to do a little bit of work on this dirt terraforming. But look at this. Look at all the chains and the lanterns on here. I think they really add some nice detail. And this was the only part I forgot to mention was light gray carpets atop the chains so that it looks as if it's part of the stone and holding up the pipes or fences or whatever these are. But look at this. It's like a nice little plaza almost. I think I definitely should put some time into some roads and stuff after we have some builds finished. But yeah, I think this turned out really nicely. And if you might have noticed as I was turning, a bit of lag on the server at the moment, we got another beehive. Now, I didn't go out and find this. It just spawned naturally from our tree logging shenanigans over here. Oh, you know what? I think the reason for the lag is I have my editing software open and I'm recording and I'm on the server all at the same time. That's probably it. It's again 6 a.m. Oh, some villagers. Yeesh. But yeah, this build is complete. That I can safely say that. I mean, there's nothing on the insides, but I mean, that's entirely dependent on what we decide to store in each of these silos. I'll probably use this one as like a valuables because it's the smallest. And then I'll probably use the biggest one for whatever we produce the most of. Wait a minute, did I forget to put a door on this one? I forgot to put a door on this one. So, you guys do get to see it get completed on stream. On camera. Yeah. So, I will need to get back into some wood farming mode. But, I think, before I go ham on any wood collecting, although it does seem from what I've heard from my server mates, there does seem to be a definite want and need for large large logging, and, well, I guess that's up to me to fulfill that request. Let's see. I think there's not a whole lot else I can think of to do in this episode. We're definitely not going to make it to working on the barn just yet, which is what, well, that's either going to be the barn, or it'll be either the barn or it'll be our, like, house. But I'm thinking barn because it can overlook the field and stuff. And we can put our house, like, over here, along with, like, some stables. Speaking of stables, actually, another wandering trader wandered on in, and he just kind of he left. He left. Nothing nefarious happened. He just simply left the premises. Said something about being a bit hot. Don't know what that's about. Actually, I won't turn all of this into path blocks, but yeah, the farm is coming along. But I guess this means we can go ahead and come up to, let's see, farm is definitely not done. Barn, Zen garden. I need to find bamboo. Now that I know I can make podzol just by growing big spruce trees, and considering I will probably be making more of those in the future, I don't really have to worry about podzol. Animal pens, that'll probably either the barn, animal pens, yeah, we're gonna start with all of our, for now, most of our builds will have to have a function. So, you know, the silos were storage. If we do a barn next, it'll either be more storage or it'll be like a stables for horses or something like that. I don't think animal pens will be too big of a build, although I don't want to just make a big fence and put things in. I want to make it, you know, look nice and stuff. So I think what I'm gonna do is animal pens will be next episode. If there's time, we'll work on the barn. Maybe have a bit of a barn raising. And then from there, I would say we will move on to possibly going to the Nether. I have not found diamonds yet, but I would like to get the necessary components for brewing, and not just brewing, making the potions and such to turn zombie villagers back into villagers, as I really don't want to go super far out to find villagers and then bring them here, because that would take a very long time. Now, by the time that I get the potions, and like the weakness potion and the golden apple and all the stuff needed for that, I'm assuming I'll have trapped a zombie villager or two, maybe 3, but I only need 2 since I am well equipped with the process of village creation. So, with all that said, I think we can definitely cross completing the silo off our list. Can you just move just a little bit? Thank you. So, start business is 10, orchard is 11, and village is that. So, bam! That's completed. 10 is I guess we'll change it to improve we'll just do biz like that. 11. Orchard. 12. Village. Yeah, so I think this to-do list is definitely neat. I do think this one's probably gonna be here for a while, so I might move a couple of these, unless I just decide to just put signs all around it. I definitely a barn would definitely be a good place for these guys, so that's definitely on the list. But yeah, once we so here's the game plan. We're gonna do animal pens, barn, maybe work on the fields a little bit, and nether stuff. So I don't have all that much that I think would go into this video unless someone's dropped something in my mailbox again. Nope. So let's get on, just come on right down to the campfire. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like or comment or whatever YouTube baloney people have to say to make things work on here. And maybe give me your thoughts on the flyover, the voiceover. Thank you, brain. Thank you. And, you know, just overall, have a wonderful evening, morning, or noon. So, my name is ChangerHero, and I am signing off. Bye-bye.